Welcome to this deep dive into modern military technology. Imagine a multi-billion dollar U.S. air defense grid.
Yeah, the absolute best money can buy.
Right, exactly. But now imagine it being brought to its knees by like a $2,000 engine that you could literally pull out of a cheap lawnmower.
It sounds kind of crazy, but that is the reality of asymmetric warfare today.
It really is. And we're unpacking a stark mathematical problem for you today. It's how Iran, operating on a defense budget of, roughly 30 to 40 billion dollars, is systematically neutralizing the advantages of a U.S. military backed by an $850 billion budget.
The most glaring disparity here is just the raw cost of conflict. I mean, take the Shaheed 136 loitering munitions.
Oh, the kamikaze drones, right?
Exactly. The payload and airframe are propelled by cheap 50 to 70 cc motorbike engines that you can basically buy in bulk.
Wow.
Yeah, so the total build cost is around $2,000 a unit.
Which is wild because, well, the standard protocol for defending against those is often firing 2 Patriot missiles just to guarantee the intercept.
Right, at $4 million a pop.
So that is an $8 million response to a $2,000 threat. I mean, it's like someone throwing an endless supply of cheap marbles at you, and you're trying to defend yourself by throwing highly expensive bricks. Even if you never miss, the math guarantees you will run out of bricks long before they run out of marbles.
Which is really the entire point of the strategy. The primary goal isn't just immediate devastating destruction.
Right.
It's a deliberate strategy of exhaustion.
Okay.
You financially and physically drain an adversary's air defense grid by, well, forcing them to consume premium interceptors on completely disposable threats.
And since they obviously can't outspend the U.S., they're engineering ways to outsmart advanced targeting systems, right? It's evasion over brute force.
Exactly. For instance, they're pivoting away from the U.S.-controlled GPS network.
Oh, right. They're using China's Beidou system now.
Yeah, which is much more jam-resistant. Plus, they actively employ GPS spoofing.
How does that actually work in practice, though?
Well, legitimate GPS signals come from satellites thousands of miles in space, so they're actually quite faint by the time they hit the surface.
Makes sense.
So a localized earthbound transmitter can broadcast a fake, louder signal that just easily drowns out the real one.
So it feeds incoming weapons entirely false coordinates.
Exactly, making them miss completely.
And they're also breaking the math of interception itself. The sources highlight that Fatah 1 hypersonic missile, hitting speeds of like Mach 13 to 15.
Oh yeah, those are a massive challenge. Yeah. Traditional interceptors calculate where to shoot by tracking a predictable, fixed parabolic arc.
But these hypersonics sort of dance and change trajectory midair, right?
Yes, they maneuver dynamically. Once the missile alters its path, that predictive math completely falls apart. It just bypasses the fundamental logic that legacy radar systems rely on.
See, I'm struggling with the math here, though. I mean, the U.S. has cutting-edge AI for targeting, right?
Sure they do.
And, B-2 stealth bombers dropping 13,000-kilogram bunker busters. Why can't the military just locate the launch sites and flatten them before these swarms ever take off?
Well, because finding a target rapidly with AI doesn't mean you can easily destroy it.
Why not?
A massive portion of this arsenal is hidden inside what they call missile cities. These are complex bunker networks buried 500 meters deep under mountains.
Wait, 500 meters? Seriously?
Yeah, totally buried, protected by curved concrete and massive blast doors. You just can't bomb them out of existence from the air.
Oh, wow. So you're basically forced back into playing defense against the swarm.
And the defense is cracking, honestly.
Yeah.
The U.S. is rapidly burning through Kish interceptors.
Those are the massive high-altitude safety nets for ballistic missiles.
Right. But they only produce about 270 of those a year. They simply cannot build the sophisticated interceptors fast enough to keep pace with the incoming volume.
And that strategy of overwhelming the system isn't limited to just the physical sky either.
No, not at all.
Because they're applying that exact same cheap exhaustion tactic to our digital and physical infrastructure too.
Right, because warfare today is incredibly dependent on connectivity.
Like the psychological warfare stuff we read about.
Exactly. We see them weaponizing platforms like Telegram, using AI-generated fakes to run psychological operations that cause public panic.
And that costs practically nothing, with total plausible deniability.
Exactly.
But if we look at the physical backbone of that connectivity, the sources point to the extreme vulnerability of undersea internet cables.
Specifically the ones running through the Strait of Hormuz. That is the ultimate asymmetric choke point.
Because you don't need a billion-dollar navy to sever a physical cable resting on the ocean floor.
No, you really don't. But cutting that specific artery wouldn't just disrupt a local military base. It could cripple global communications and financial markets for half the world.
So the physical effort required is minimal, but the digital fallout is catastrophic.
Precisely. It forces a critical reevaluation of what constitutes a true strategic advantage today.
Yeah, when you pull back and look at this whole picture, it fundamentally changes how we have to calculate power. We're basically seeing a modern battlefield where scrappy, reverse-engineered tech is neutralizing traditional military supremacy.
It really levels the playing field in a very dangerous way.
Which leaves you with this final thought to ponder today. If a $2,000 drone built with a motorbike engine can dictate the pace of a modern conflict, will future wars be won by the most advanced superpowers, or simply the ones with the most disposable technology?